The Mets will win the National League in 2027. The Mets playing for their next World Series 41 years after 1986. Baseball is going to be rigged for Japanese players to play in the World Series. So we're talking about Yamamoto and Ohtani. We're talking about Yu Darvish this year on the Padres. Kodai Senga will play in the World Series because baseball likes the Japanese viewership. They like featuring Japanese hometown stars in the World Series. So this is going to be a very significant component when we see the scripted baseball over the next few years. Kodai Senga is Gematria of the Mets' last title in 1986, and 41 years after 1986 would be 2027. The Mets lost in 2015 against the Royals. The Mets will make it back to the World Series 12 years later. Mets is Gematria 12. The Mets is Gematria 2027. They lost the World Series against the Royals. It's Royals that's Gematria 27. The owner is Steve Cohen. It's Cohen that's Gematria 27. So the Mets will make it in 2027. New York Mets is 24. Could the Mets fall to 2-4 in the World Series? Potentially. Also, Senga's from Japan. Japan is Gematria 42. All right, okay, it's not 24. I was thinking 24, but it's 42. Japan is 15. New York City 15. Cohen became minority owner in 2012. Mets make it back in the World Series 15 years after he became a minority owner. The Mets' last appearance in 2015. 122 prior World Series. Pete Alonso will make it to the World Series. Pete Alonso is Gematria the 41 years after 1986. Kansas City is Gematria 122. So the Mets lost against Kansas City after 122 prior World Series is when the Mets will make it back into the World Series. Francisco Lindor, number 12, key star on the Mets. The Mets make it back 12 years later. What season of the Mets is this this year? So the Mets are going to win in their 66th season in baseball. 66 is Gematria of the Empire State, is Gematria of title. So the Mets will definitely win the National League in 2027. They're going to also win the World Series that year as well. Kodai is Gematria 40 prior years without a title for the Mets. The Japanese viewership that we speak about. Senga is Gematria 19, the 19th season at Citi Field for the Mets. Citi is Gematria 41 years after 1986. The Mets can win the championship again. Will baseball script the Subway Series? The Yankees is Gematria 41. Will they set up the Red Sox moment in 2004? And now they have a little crosstown rival getting a moment against the Yankees. It's possible. Subway's Gematria the 19th year at Citi Field. A Subway World Series. 2000. And 27 years later, we can see the Subway Series again. 27 years after 2000. I'm not sure what the 14th World Series loss for the Yankees represents, quite frankly. The Yankees lost a World Series in 2003. What if they lose another World Series 24 years later? New York Mets is Gematria 24. The Masonry number can always hit. Masonry is Gematria 33. Mets go to 3-3 in the World Series by beating the Yankees. He's the richest owner in baseball. It's got to be rigged for that billionaire somehow, right? Flushing is Gematria 96 and 42. Aaron Judge is Gematria 96 and 42. Queens is Gematria 2027. So the key theme of the video is 27. The 2027 World Series. So yeah, cold day in hell for the annoying New York Mets fan base. 65 prior seasons. New York Yankees is Gematria 65. So this Japanese pitcher, it's rigged for ratings because they like to bring that international viewership. So always be on the lookout for Japanese players in Major League Baseball. A five-time Japan Series champion. Add another championship to his belt. Fukuoka Softball Hawks. Fukuoka Softball Hawks is Gematria of the 65 prior seasons if you're the New York Mets. It's got to be rigged for this to happen at some point. What's the Mets win-loss record in the World Series? I'll wait for these pages to load. Oh, their 19th World Series game, the Mets won in 1986. That's connection to their 19th season at Citi Field. 2000 was the 96 edition of the World Series. Aaron Judge, 96. Flushing, 96. Next Subway Series since the 96 World Series, and that's 96 Gematria, Aaron Judge. So they played 29 games in the World Series. The New York Mets, Manhattan is 29. The Yankees are from the Bronx. They're not from Manhattan. Founder of SAC Capital Advisors, Steve Cohen. SAC Capital Advisors is Gematria of the Mets, their 66th season in existence. SAC Capital Advisors, one of Steve Cohen's founding hedge fund companies, is Gematria of the 123rd World Series, so you have to really look at the owners. .72 Asset Management, a founder of. But it will be scripted for the Mets to make it back. Mets Phillies, year by year. Mets keep their stars. Mets spend some more money. There's no salary cap in baseball. So, you get my drift. And let's see, the Mets have 13 wins in the World Series. I wonder what 17 is about. Steve is Gematria 17. The Mets' 17th World Series win in their history to win their next title. Steve is Gematria 17. Steve in reverse is 64 and 28. New York Yankees in abbreviations is 17 in reverse. Is Gematria of the 19th season at Citi Field. I think Pete Alonso is staying with the Mets. Alonso was the 64th pick. New York Yankees in abbreviations is 64. I'm telling you, they're probably going to rig another Yankees-Mets series, probably. Pete is Gematria of the 19th season at City. I think I've already said that. The 17th win in the World Series in the history of the Mets. You know, any other guys who could be part of this future? Lindor in reverse is 90, which is Gematria Royals. The Mets manager, he's probably going to be there for future years. Carlos Mendoza, born on the 27th day of November. He'd be 47 years of age in 2027. Judge is Gematria 47. Carlos is reverse of 40 prior seasons without a championship. Mendoza is Gematria the 3-3 record in the World Series. The Mets last making the World Series during the 111th World Series. Mendoza reverse 111. New York is 111. New York is also Gematria 33. So if the Subway Series does happen, it's scripted for the Mets to win. So yeah, I ain't getting my hopes up for 2027. Mets will be 3-3 in the World Series. Birthplace of Senga from Japan. Gamagori Japan. Gamagon. It's Gamagon. Gamagori. What about the numerology that they signed Senga? Well, he signed with the Mets on the 17th day of the month. 17th win the World Series. This was 17-8 day numerology, so that's definitely the plan. 12 is 3, 17 is 8, that's 11, 2022 is 6 years, so this is the plan. Made his debut against the Miami Marlins. He's going to win the World Series just over 59 months later. Miami's the year 27, that World Series. Miami Marlins is Gematria 59. Marlins is Gematria the Mets last title in 86. So when you think about Senga, you think about RID ratings for the World Series for Major League Baseball. They're going to cater to international viewership in the same way that the NBA does with the San Antonio Spurs dynasty and other key international superstars like Giannis Antetokounmpo. So that is 2027. The Mets are going to win 2027.